everybody. Today we'll be having our class on the topic capital structure, financial leverage, and the example which is proof that the more the debt is used in the capital structure, the more will be the income for the owners in the capital structure. That has to be proved with the help of this example. Okay. So first of all, I would like to brief out the meaning of capital structure. The proportion of debt and equity which is used in the total funding of the business or the company, that is known as capital structure. Okay, like debt means the borrowed funds we have already learned, and the equity means the insiders fund or the shareholders fund. Okay, that has been the proportion of these two, mix of these two, or you can say combination of these two things which is used in the company. Okay, so that is only capital structure. Now financial leverage means the help or the support which the company is getting for financing the companies. Okay, that means you can indirectly you can understand financial leverage means to put more debt in the capital structure rather than using their own fund, that is equity. Okay, support from other side, that is leverage, financial leverage, help or support, you can think like that. Now you see, like here I have written company's earning per share is more when debt is more. Okay, company can earn more betterly when there is more debt. Otherwise, what we have understand is debt means the more debt, then there will be having the risks of making payment, isn't it? The more will be debt, the company has to pay more interest, isn't it? In case sometimes the company is not earning profit, then how they will be paying that or satisfying the claimants by paying the interest on debt, isn't it? So that was another problem which the company will have. But another thing is that on the other hand, if you think that if the company use debt, then only they will be in benefit. Okay, so with this example we are trying to prove that debt is more, then there will be more income to the company. Okay, so first situation I have written like this: total capital. For example, a company will have total capital altogether 50 lakhs, and in that total capital 50 lakhs, that is 5 lakhs share. That means one share rupees is 10. Before I tell something about this, when there is the price of the share is high, means what we can understand, the company is earning more, the demand of the company is more, the shareholders are paying more for the share. Okay, for example, if the demand is high for any product, then you will be paying more, you are ready to pay more price for the product. That we know very well, isn't it? So if the company is earning well, okay, if the company is financially sound and earning well, means that company's share is also will rise, increase, isn't it? So here I have written equity capital 50 lakhs, that is 5 lakhs share for rupees 100 each. Okay, 5 lakhs into 10, that is 50 lakhs altogether. Now debt is nil. In the first situation, the company has not taken any debt, or they have not used any debt in their total capital. Okay, they have not borrowed any funds from the outsiders. Now tax rate is as usual 30% in all the cases. 30% is the tax rate the company has to pay. Understood? Now earning before interest and tax, that is 7 lakhs. If they have not used debt, then they have earned 7 lakhs. Okay, this is the situation. Now you see in the second situation, total capital 50 lakhs. Equity capital also, equity capital they have used 40 lakhs. Understood? Out of total is 50. On that 40 lakhs they have used their own funds. And 10 lakhs they have used borrowed funds to make it total 50 lakhs. Are you understanding? That means 10 lakhs they have borrowed. And tax rate is 30% as usual. Tax rate won't be changed. So earning before interest and tax is 7 lakhs. They have earned 7 lakhs. But they have not used what? Interest they have not used. Isn't it? Because interest when the company has to pay, when they borrowed something. Okay, here they don't have to pay interest because they have not borrowed. Understanding or not? In this case, they have borrowed something. How much is borrowed? 10 lakhs they have borrowed. That means interest rate is 10%. I have written there. 10%. Okay. Here also 10% they have to pay. Now in this third situation, total capital 50 lakh, equity capital 30 lakhs. They have used their own fund, that is only 30 lakhs. That means 20 lakhs. I forgot to write. Where is my marker? Okay, here I will be writing 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs and tax rate is, how much is the tax rate? 30% as usual, isn't it? 30%. Okay. So debt, they have used 20 lakhs, and here it is. Interest is 10%. Earning before interest and tax. They have earned 7 lakhs in all the situation. Are you getting my point? Though the company has earned 7 lakhs in all the 3 situations, but here what happened? They don't have to pay interest. Are you getting my point? Here they have to pay interest for the borrowed funds. Here also they have paid interest for the borrowed funds. Now you see, we analyze the 3 situations. See, the first situation, earning before income and tax. I just want to see the face of the boys who come this side. Earning before income and tax, isn't it? How much they have earned? 7 lakhs. Second situation also 7 lakhs. In third situation also 7 lakhs. Now interest. In the first situation they don't have to pay interest. In the second situation they have to pay interest. 10% of how much rupees? 10 lakhs. 10% of 10 lakhs. 1 lakh. Understanding or not? Now here also 10% of 40 lakhs or 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs, isn't it? 2 lakh. So after reducing the interest, how much they have got now? This is the profit before paying the tax. After paying the interest. Understanding or not? After paying the interest and before paying the tax. That means 7 lakhs, 6 lakhs and 5 lakhs they have got their income. Understood? Now again what they have to pay? They have to pay tax for their incomes. Whatever they have earned, on that earning they have to pay. Company have to pay what? Tax. Okay. So how much tax? 30% in all the situation. 30% of 7 lakhs, 2 lakh 10,000 in the first case. And 30% of 6 lakh, that is 1 lakh 80,000 in second case. 30% of 5 lakh, that is 1 lakh 50,000 in third case. Now after making payment of all the things, interest and tax, in the first situation how much is the remaining income? 4 lakh 19,000. And in the second case how much is the income?
4 lakh 20,000.
Third case
3
lakh 50,000. Okay, fine. Now we'll see the earning per share. This is the most important point. Earning per share means for one share how much they are earning. It matters a lot, isn't it? So for making the increase earning per share, what not the finance manager will does, isn't it? All in the hands of the finance manager to take the wise decision to increase the value of earning per share. This is their objective. Okay. So earning per share, how we can calculate? Interest after income and tax. What is the income remaining? Net income. What is the net income in the first case? 4 lakh 90,000 divided by what is the number of shares in the first case? 5 lakhs. Okay. So what is the earning per share? You can calculate by yourself also. 0.98 it will come out. In the second case, this income, net income, or you can say earning after interest and tax divided by number of shares, that is 1.05. And in the third case, similarly, the net income divided by number of shares. Number of shares in this case is 3 lakhs. Are you seeing from both? Okay, so there will be EPS 1.616. Okay, so which one is the highest one? Which one is the highest earning per share? Third one. How come? Because they have used more debt. Understand or not? In the first case, they haven't used debt. That's why their earning per share is only 0.98. Second case, they have used little bit of debt. That's why their earning per share little bit increased. That is 1.05. And third case, they have used more debt comparatively. And they have earned 1.16. That means this is proved that when there is more debt deployed in the company, okay, invested or used in the company, the more EPS can be earned. Okay, so thank you.